Hi there, I am Amelia for Britches, and this is my Module 5 Barriers to Web 2.0 for AEP 800. So the summary of um, the articles and how they apply for me. So I work really closely with the librarian, who does a really great job of giving us resources regarding technology, or if but don't have time um, to make it a thing, I can reach out to her, and she's always willing to help me and gives me a lot of ideas. I also work really closely with my collaborative team within my content. Once a week we share things, and I'm always sharing new ideas and things regarding technology, new programs that I found, and they do the same for me. I do not have an interactive board or a smart board or a Promethean board of anything of that sort. I really wish I did, but actually no one in our high school does. I do have a projector, and I do have Apple Television. I use the Apple Television a lot. I use it more than my projector most of the time. I am personally really driven to make the time to invest in using technology and learn how to use programs and learn how to best implement them, but it's often rather time consuming. So the article about the 7 barriers, I personally only have access to very old textbooks. Actually, my government textbooks are the same age as I am. Because they are just no good, I'm forced to use the internet to find all my material and resources, and as a result, I've had to be really creative and be innovative, be really up to date, and it's been a lot of work, but I also find it really rewarding, and I find my work to be pretty authentic. There's just a ton of resources out there, which I really do like that. I think it could be bad just getting caught in using a textbook, even though I think it's a really great resource, and I hope to get them one day, some better ones, but I think there's some benefit of doing it how I'm doing it. Also, a flipped classroom I think can be really useful. I think we have to use them in good measure. I am not for using them every lesson, but with technology we can flip a classroom to maximize face-to-face time. So I can give my students things to do, but then in class we can talk about these things, and I can, rather than showing a film, I can have them watch it on YouTube and then do a certain assignment over it, and then we can work more face-to-face in class. Teachers have to understand how important they are. So with a flipped classroom, what I see and what I've learned and experienced, a teacher has to be very prepared in order to do this. They have to be really proactive, and they have to be ahead of the game. They must be prepared for the stress that comes along with playing a coach or a facilitator, and being able to relinquish some of that control, and give it to the students, and truly experience maybe some organized chaos. Technology must have direction. If the teacher does not use direction, the technology is a lost cause and the effectiveness is non-existent. The article about the digital divider, truly I could not relate to the article a ton, because my students are very privileged. They come from good families. They have access to the internet and then some. The kids are all upper to middle class. The community really supports them. Their families really support them. They're really involved. However, we do have a built-in time twice a week at the very beginning of the school day. Kids can come and get work done. So if a student didn't have access, and it's happened a couple times, to the internet, we make that time available for them to come in and get any work done that was expected of them if it involved using the internet. And then open educational resources. Once again, because I do not use textbooks, I turn to web resources. There are countless amazing resources. They are really great for spotting ideas and expanding thoughts. I don't really love the idea of only using one large resource. The beauty of the web is how vast it is and the variety and the options that you get, and not being pigeonholed into maybe just one resource. And I really think that those resources should be available pretty much for free for educational purposes. It truly is for students and the good of education, and we all benefit from that. And so schools and teachers, students should have access to good resources on the internet. Then after watching the video, as a high school teacher, I could relate to some of the challenges the video suggested. I'm fortunate to be in a one-to-one school. I know no different in my teaching. However, I often introduce a new program or activity involving technology, and I will say it does take quite a bit of time. Part of it is me just breaking it down, explaining how to use it, but I have found it beneficial to take the time to do that, because once I've done it once, they know how to use it, and then learning can really expand. Kids I've been very pleasantly surprised with how much learning they've done as a result. So I think it's worth it in my opinion, but without doubt it is going to take some time to do those things, especially in high school. Do I feel like the digital divide can be resolved? Why or why not? I thought the article did a really nice job of relating the issue to some past examples in our nation. Once upon a time, electricity and telephone services were not a necessity. Our government's job, one of its jobs, is to protect the general welfare and provide an education. And if kids are getting Chromebooks, internet access is going to need to be had at home. Just as electricity was made available, I think internet one day will be too, in places that it's not truly for the good of students. I'm an optimist, and I just think that with time it can be resolved, and we've seen this type of issue before. It's just a different time. What skill sets do I think 21st century students must acquire prior to graduation? Students must be able to communicate, but they must be able to do so using technology, and so that means being literate in different ways, and knowing how to do that appropriately. They also need to know how to research and know how to sort through sources and sift through, and how to use everything that they have access to their benefit. Students must be able to design websites. They must know how to function them. They're really simple. It just is a matter of learning and using and gaining those skills and practices. Kids must be able to make online projects and posts, all of those things, but most importantly, students have to be able to problem solve. That is not a new idea. However, with technology, they must be able to use that with their problem solving. What impact has the global economy had on my personal use of the internet? How I communicate, I think it affects me daily with the people I communicate with, people I know, people I don't know, people I learn from, things I have access to, resources and opportunities. It's so vast. My efficiency, I think just in my daily life, how efficient I am just with, paying bills and, getting different goods and services, and ordering things online, shopping, whatever it might be. I'm just way more efficient in life than maybe what would have been several years ago. And then I think of education. Think of how much I've learned and how many opportunities I've had regarding my education because of the global economy and my personal use of the internet. It's definitely a part of my daily life. What technology training do you still need to be effectively integrated technology in your current position? I don't think you could ever have enough skills. There's always more to be learned. But being able to understand teachers and their needs and their skills and where they need to be more skillful. Also understanding students' skills. Where are they coming from? How do we build off of what they already know? Also learning new resources. What's good to have in our building? Is it archaic? Is it out of date? Can we get something fresh? Is it free? You know, what, all of those things. And then also our school programs. What websites are we using? What software are we using? How are we doing these things, and why? Is it because it's good? Is it because it's what we've done? And just learning what's out there and knowing those things. My school district is equipped, I would say, pretty well. At the elementary school, they have smart boards, iPad carts, and desktop computers. At the middle school, they have Chromebook carts so the kids can check them out, but they don't get them individually. These classrooms have projectors and smart televisions. And then at the high school, we have one-to-one Chromebooks, projectors, smart TVs, no smart boards. I wish we did, but we don't. We also have a robotics program and a lot of digital media and programming classes, and so kids, if they're interested in that, there's a lot of opportunity for them to learn and excel doing those things. What advantages of innovative practices? What are the advantages in schools? Innovation has always led to success. That's part of our economy, part of our country is being innovative. It's challenging, but challenging is a good thing. That leads to growth, and students can achieve because of it. Students are thinking on higher levels, they're advancing, they're experiencing achievement, and this is going to set them up with skills that they're going to need in the future. You talk about how students' jobs may not even exist yet. There's so much artificial intelligence and all of these things. So being able to set them up with how to use a program and to just problem solve. And I think if a school is innovative, that's an advantage. Some disadvantages, it's a little less content driven. I think about me personally, I love my content, and sometimes I get caught up in what skills do they need to have, and how important is this content? What is memorizing facts necessarily important, or is it applying it and doing so in a way that's gonna build a really, really valuable skill for them, and no matter what they do. Sometimes I feel like it's maybe seems a little less authentic. How do we deliver information? Sometimes when you do so many things using technology, you do miss out on that maybe interpersonal relationship, a very authentic communication. So I think sometimes it can feel like that. I think it's also a hard balance to find. You don't want students to have too much screen time. You don't want kids to have too much screen time. But where's the balance? You want them using these things. You want them to be savvy with them. But you don't want them to overuse them. You don't want to abuse them. And so finding a balance, I think, is really can be a disadvantage if you're being innovative. And then cyberbullying or inappropriate use of the internet at school. Some inappropriate use, I've definitely caught some kids, experienced some kids doing some cheating, finding access to different things in ways that's not appropriate. Some plagiarism, I think it makes it a little more easy. However, I can check it very easily, and so I think students are going to learn that they can't get away with that. Different, vices. So Netflix, social medias, watching their huddle film, the football players, reviewing all those things. It can get in the way, and it can serve as a distraction for the students. And then students also looking up using their Chromebooks inappropriately to a point that they have to get them taken away, and then learning how to let them use it in class but not having them take it home, and adjust your lessons and modifying because of the misuse. Luckily, I haven't had too much experience with that, especially with the cyberbullying, but that is something that you have to be prepared for. Thanks for watching.